We're now at 30 through 21 on our Pigskin Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 college football season list. Already at number 30 through 21. We went through 50 through 31 on the past two episodes. Last week, go back and rewatch last week's episodes on Tuesday and this past Thursday. Now it's another week, Tuesday once again, and we're ready to rock and roll and continue on with our list because it's a doozy of a list. I gotta tell you, it's a doozy of a list. I like to pat myself on the back. I don't really pat myself on the back very often, and I don't really brag on myself a lot, if that makes sense. But guess what? I'm gonna brag on myself with this one. Pat on the back, because I think 30 through 21 is a heck of a section of a list. I think it's a doozy of a list. I hope you guys like it too. You're going to tell me what you think in the comments on all platforms below. We're ready to rock and roll as we get closer and closer to the 300th episode of Pigskin Frenzy and the number one game, our number one game of the 2025 college football season. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris, and whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Podbean, or Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Tuesday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage presented by me. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you have to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and TikTok, follow, like the pages there. You're going to get news and highlights from across college football and wild takes and clips from me, the prodigy of college football, and more on those platforms at pigskin_frenzy. The website is www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. We are at 6,600 listeners and counting. We are also at 86,000 channel views on YouTube. We have risen, from like 84,000 the other day. Now we're at 86,000 on YouTube channel views and counting. A big thank you for tuning in each and every Tuesday and Thursday, because without you guys, we would not be doing this. We would not be in college football media if it wasn't for you guys. So we're so thankful for you guys for tuning in each and every week. And not only that, we're so thankful, and most importantly, we're so thankful for our Lord Jesus, because without him, we would not be in this we would not have the space, we would not be in this position, we would not have the platform to do this if it wasn't for our Lord Jesus. We give him all the glory and all the praise. It's the best decision you can ever make in your life, coming to know him. If you want to come to know him, contact me at Pigskin_Frenzy on X, Instagram, and on TikTok, as well as our website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Home and About Me page on the bottom of the page. You can name, email, info, and send it to me. It's the best decision you can ever make in your life, coming to know Jesus, because he is King, he is Lord of Lords, and we give him all the glory and praise. Without him, we would not have the ability to talk about college football, and not only that, most importantly, spread his name across all platforms, networks, and shows. Without him, we would not be here, and we give him all the glory. And speaking of our Lord and Savior, it's a really good, I learned this on our verse of the day before we talk about college football. I learned this on our verse of the day. The verse of the day was 2 John 1:6, and it says, and this is love, NIV version, and this is love, that we walk in obedience to his commands, as you have heard from the beginning. His command is that you walk in love. So I encourage everybody to not only just watch this episode, but to love people around you. We love college football and we love this sport, but the most important thing is that we love, number one, Jesus, and number two, people. So love people, love everybody today in the Lord's name. So love everybody and encourage people, lift people up, and keep on chugging along and keep on going in the name of our Lord Jesus. So, great verse of the day. Just wanted to share that with you guys and preach the name of Jesus and spread his name across all platforms. Guys, let's talk about some college football, because it's a college football show after all. And we're so pumped to just continue on with this list. I know it's a hit around here. It's this is our going into our year 4, kind of our 4th season doing this. Our Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 season list, and we're going to continue with 30 through 21. A doozy of a list. We had a great section last week, and great 2 sections last week, but I feel like 30 through 21 is a good round, a good list. I know we're going to get a good one on the 300th episode, and that's what we're inching towards. We're getting closer and closer to the number one game on Tuesdays, or next Tuesday's 300th episode. So we're promoting that a week early. Tune in on next Tuesday. It's going to be great. 300th episode of Pigskin Frenzy as we continue on to 2026 as well. But this section is pretty underrated, and I like this section. I think it's a great round of games. Cannot wait to unveil it all right now, and we're ready to rock and roll. So let's kick it off. Number 30 on our list. So number 30, and before everybody says anything, everyone's going to be like, dude, this is number 30 on your list. I think it's a good section, but you just got to go back and watch it, okay? Just go back and watch the game. So I plead with you, go back and watch it. Number 30, college football playoff first round, December 20th, Miami at Texas A&M. Now, hold on. Before anybody says anything, before anybody says, dude, really? They didn't score until the fourth quarter. I know. The wind was a tough environment. There was no not much offense in that game. Very defensive battle. Field goals were getting missed from, field goal kicking was, not, setting the world on fire. I know. I sent out that tweet on December 20th. It was a very interesting college football playoff first round between Miami and Texas A&M. 0-0 up until the fourth quarter. A&M got the lead with 3. Miami scored, and then it ended up being, 10-3. I mean, because it was a 3-3 game, right? 3-3 thing happened, and it ended up being, score in the fourth, 10-3. You know what I mean? It ended up being an electrifying game at the very end. It was a defensive battle, a lot of wind, lack of offense. It was just very interesting overall. I mean, we had the turnovers, I think, were the key in this game, really, and this is why it's number 30. I'm going to tell you why. Turnovers were a key in this game. A&M had like 3. Miami had 1, and a lot of people were thinking these two teams are not going to the playoff. These two teams are going to get beat by Ohio State. And then Miami goes on to play in the national championship, a home national title game against Indiana. But Miami 10-3 in this game. Everyone thought in this game that, okay, I thought A&M was going to win the game. I picked A&M to win the game and then go on to lose to Ohio State. But and I could see why people were picking Miami in this game. They got in. They were going to prove that, hey, we belonged over Notre Dame. We belonged over a lot of others in this field, and they proved that. They certainly did. They beat A&M. They beat Ohio State. They went on to beat Ole Miss at the Fiesta Bowl. But in this game, a lot of wind, a lot of defense. It was a low-scoring game, but it was a game that got you on the edge of your seat. And that's why it's number 30 on our list. It was actually a pretty decent game. A lot of people are going to say, are you serious? But think about it. It had all the ingredients for an exciting first-round game, even though it was low-scoring, even though the offense was not setting the world on fire, the field goal kicking was missing, the wind was crazy. Think about it. Defensive battle, who had the most turnovers, and who was going to get the ball at the last possession and try to make something out of it. Miami made something out of it. A&M had the most turnovers. Therefore, Miami ended up winning the game 10-3 in this one. Very exciting game at the very end. A lot of people at first were like, oh, this is kind of a dud. But then as you watched on, you're like, okay, this is kind of interesting to see who's going to get that one score, that one crucial score to win the ball game and go play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. That's what we were excited about on December 20th. It was a early Christmas present for us in college football land. So that's why it's number 30, and I think it's a really good one to be number 30, honestly. Number 30 is the college football playoff first round, Miami at Texas A&M on December 20th, where Miami defeated Texas A&M 10-3 and moved on to play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. So very interesting game there. Classic of a, I wouldn't say classic of a game, but it was a very good game nonetheless before we got the other games that day. So number 30 is Miami at Texas A&M in the college ball playoff first round. Number 29 on our list. Number 29. We mentioned Ohio State because I thought it was a good one that we mentioned Ohio State. We're going to turn it back to week 1. Number 29 is Texas at Ohio State in week 1. Battle of inexperienced quarterbacks. Arch Manning making his first full-on start. I mean, he started Yeah, he made a full-on start against Mississippi State and Louisiana Monroe and those games. I understand, but this was a mark of a new era for Texas. Quinn Ewers no longer the quarterback at Texas; he's gone to the NFL. Arch Manning, the hyped up prodigy of this of college football in this sport, no pun intended, because I'm the college football prodigy, but in media terms. But on the field, he's the quarterback prodigy of college football. He's starting, and this is his first game where he's going to start a full season. So you get that. Then you get Julian Sayin, this was going to be his first game starting, period, and his first full-on season starting. So, see what they do. Battle of inexperienced quarterbacks, hadn't played all that much, and then you got two experienced defenses in this game. So, that's a good thing about this, where, okay, yeah, you think about it at first, like, okay, you're so focused on looking at Julian Sayin. You're so focused on what Arch Manning's going to do, because that was the most hyped thing up. What was Arch Manning going to do? This was a Pigskin Frenzy game early on. I picked Texas to win it all. Not just to win it all. I picked Texas to win this game, and all of a sudden, Ohio State strikes the board. They're up 14-0 later in the game. The game was low scoring. The defenses were all over the field. Ohio State's defense just played a little bit better. Arch Manning and that offense could not be in tune, be in sync. Arch Manning did not have the best game in week 1. Julian Sayin just played a little bit better, connected with some dimes for touchdowns, and Ohio State ended up pulling it out 14-7 in this one. Ohio State defeated Texas 14-7 in this game. Like I said, the reason why it's number 29 on our list and why it was a good game is, number one, the defenses were really good in this game. It was a tug of war on defense to see who was going to get the most stops, who was going to rattle either quarterback, and I think that was what was so fun about this. Both had really good defenses, and nobody was letting up until the fourth quarter, really. Ohio State scored 7-0, yes, and they were up 7-0, but it really wasn't until the fourth quarter where we start to see a little bit of a gap between the two. And then that leads into number 2 on why it's number 29. Julian Sayin made a little bit of better quarterback play than Arch Manning in this game and led it through to a touchdown of Carnell Tate. I believe it was Carnell Tate to make it 14-0 in this game in the fourth. And a lot of people were saying, well, this is either A, going to be the score, or B, Texas might score, but Ohio State's still going to win the ball game, because I don't know if the Texas has enough offensive juice in them to come back and combat what Ohio State was doing on the field. So I think that was the whole point, right? And that's why the game was so exciting. It had a big time feel to this game. Two big programs. Number 1 in Ohio State, I think it was number 4. I think they were either number 4 or number 3 in this. Week 1 at first had a lot of loaded games in it, including this one. It was the first game on. It was on Fox. It was the first game on Saturday morning, and everybody was looking forward to it. Everybody was looking forward to the rematch of the previous college football playoff semifinal going into 2025. It was 2024-2025 season, but going into this season, it was a rematch from that semifinal game in the Cotton Bowl between Ohio State and Texas. They rematched, and the same result happened. Ohio State ended up winning. Classic game. It was a good game, good defensive battle. 29 on our list is Ohio State and Texas because of how high of the hype. The crowd was amazing, and the defensive battle between two teams was pretty good. I admired the defensive battle and the low-scoring battle between two teams. So Ohio State and Texas, number 29 on our list. Ohio State defeated Texas 14-7 in week 1. 29 on our list is that one. Number 28 on our list is going from week 1, going to all the way at the end of the regular season. The Iron Bowl is number 28 on our list. Alabama at Auburn. A very interesting game because at first it was all Bama, and Auburn really couldn't get anything going. I thought that Bama was going to win the game. I was right. Alabama defeated Auburn 27-20. But at first, we thought it was going to be a little bit, and I mean little bit, of a blowout. And it turned out that in the second half, at least, it wasn't. Auburn started to storm back. Quarterback play was rough at the first part of the game. We're thinking you probably need to put Deuce Knight in at this point because Ashton Daniels wasn't working with him there. So they kept going. DJ Durkin kept going with it, kept, coming along, kept going, right? Crazy weekend, by the way, with all the coaching stuff going on. And it was just a crazy weekend. The whole atmosphere, the whole game was crazy. It was a do or die for Alabama. Nothing to lose for Auburn. Do or die, really, for Alabama. They have everything to lose. Auburn has nothing to lose. It was a good game overall. The atmosphere, it was overall just a great game. And what made it even better is when Auburn decided to come back in the second half. Alabama had its foot on the pedal, and they were going, the pedal to the metal, they were going in the first half. Second half, not so much. And Auburn started to mount up a little bit of pressure on this. Auburn got a touchdown late, sew it up, tie it up, and Auburn's in it. Auburn's going to make a game out of it. All of a sudden, Bama goes down the field, eats up some clock. Bama scores late, you make it 27-20. Then Auburn's going to get the ball back. They're going down the field, and all of a sudden, whoops, fumble happens. Bama gets the ball back, turnover, and then Bama ends up trying to run the clock out. Bama gets the ball back to Auburn very late, but they didn't have enough time off the clock, and Alabama wins the ball game. It had all the makings and the ingredients of a classic Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare, and I think that is why it's number 28 on our list. And like I said, the atmosphere was good. The closeness in the second half. The second half was a great second half. First half was a little bit, Second half was lived up to what an Iron Bowl looked like, and in Jordan-Hare especially. So that's why it's 28 on our list. It had all the ingredients of a phenomenal football game, and it was a good game. 27-20, Alabama defeated Auburn in the Iron Bowl to go to the playoff and go to the SEC Championship as well. That is number 28 on our list. Alabama at Auburn in the Iron Bowl, number 28 on our list. Number 27 on our list is we're going to Week 5. In this one, Week 5 was a loaded schedule. Really good schedule on September 27th. And at the time, Battle of the Unbeatens, this one was a pretty good one. LSU at Ole Miss is number 27 on our list. And a lot of people were wondering, okay, the week prior, because LSU had an offensive showcase in Week 4, or Week 4 with us, I think it was Southeastern Louisiana, who they played, going off. Are they going to live up to this, against Ole Miss in Oxford? A lot of people were favoring Ole Miss and were going to go with Ole Miss in this game. And a lot of people were like, I just don't trust LSU's offense. I picked LSU. Shame on me. It was a pigskin game that week. A lot of people were going with Ole Miss and riding with Ole Miss at home. LSU was the line wasn't LSU, then it slowly shifted as the game got closer to kickoff, shifted to Ole Miss. I wonder why. Because the defense was fighting in that game, but they ran out of gas because Ole Miss's offense and Lane Kiffin's offense at the time and Charlie Weiss's offense was just too much for LSU's defense in the gas tank. LSU's defense ran out of gas. Ole Miss kept pushing, and Ole Miss won the ball game. Ole Miss 24, LSU 19. Ole Miss defeated LSU 24-19 in this game. Very interesting game. It started literally questioned LSU a lot after this game. A lot of people started questioning whether he's no longer at LSU's coach now, but they were questioning where Brian Kelly was the guy at LSU. They were questioning that for a little bit, I know, but the gear started to really kick in with this game. And I think it really started, it was the beginning of the end with this game for sure because of the offense. The offense couldn't really do a whole lot and keep up with their offense. Because if you're going to turn it into a shootout, the offensive game plan and the offensive coaching staff for LSU compared to Ole Miss's coaching staff on offense, it's not going to work. You're not going to combat what they have because Ole Miss's offensive coaching staff is going to beat LSU's coaching staff on offense, 100%. You're not going to have a shootout with Lane Kiffin majority of the time. There's some coaches that can. A lot of coaches, I don't know if you can. And with Charlie Weiss. And LSU couldn't do it. And they had the talent, don't get me wrong, but it was a coaching mismatch between the two. And the play calling wasn't all that good for LSU on offense. It was phenomenal for Ole Miss. Therefore, defense was on the field majority of the time. And also, therefore, the defense was going to get tired. Ball game. So, and it was an interesting game at first with the hype and the build. But when you look at it, Ole Miss did in fact, make a statement and put a statement on LSU and won at home against LSU. Now, everyone's going to say, why'd you put it at 27 then? Well, because of the hype around it at first. It was the battle of the unbeatens. A lot of people were looking forward to this ball game. And not only that, I think LSU's defense kept them around in it enough to make it a game to where you make it believe that, okay, LSU can come back and try to play spoiler and try to remain undefeated in this game. Because the defense and LSU late with Harlem Berry scored very late. And made LSU believe that they could probably come back and try to sneak one and win this game. I know they did not, but it gave you that belief. It gave you that hype, that feel to it, right? So that's why it's number 27 on our list, and it was a good game overall. I expect probably a dramatic field and drama-filled game come week 3 in September 19th. Get your tickets because, and I'm gonna look to see if I can go to Oxford now because of what's going on now. So very interesting dynamic to the rivalry now. So Ole Miss defeated LSU 24-19 in this game. It is number 27 on our list. Number 26 on our list as we roll through this episode, Louisville at Miami in week 8, a Friday night pigskin game. Hadn't had one of those besides probably rivalry weekend, but in the regular season, in the thick of the regular season. Hadn't really had a Friday game like this. And we made it a Friday game because it seems like ACC games on Friday night gets really weird, right? And this was no different. It really wasn't. I mean, week 8, Louisville at Miami. Louisville and Miami Miami's rolling. Can Miami keep the momentum going? Really? And then this was a pigskin game. I said that Miami was going to win the game, but would not be surprised if Louisville did something because Louisville was a tricky team heading into that game. They were playing some decent football. I wouldn't say phenomenal, maybe, but they were playing some football to where you're like, okay, got a chip on your shoulder, got an edge. A lot of people are going to start counting them out against Miami. We're going to go prove to them that we can go play some ball. Jeff Brom and that coaching staff had a great game plan going into it. I mean, literally the first drive, they fake a field goal for a first down, and then it led into a touchdown. Phenomenal play calling, phenomenal trickery by Jeff Brom and Louisville. I mean, it was amazing. It was an amazing opening drive for Louisville, and it was a back-and-forth game. Some turnovers happened. It was like 3 or 4 turnovers for Miami. Louisville upset Miami and beat Miami. So that was loss number 1 for Miami because it was getting on the edge. Miami was getting on the edge of not making the college football playoff. It was kind of getting a little scary. This put a damper on their ACC title hopes, but it was only 1 loss. So just don't count Miami out yet, but they can't afford to lose too many else after this game. It was 24-21. Louisville defeated Miami. It was a phenomenal football game. It was back and forth. Defenses were going at each other. Turnovers were happening. Louisville played with a lot of heart and a lot of fight, and they showed that, hey, despite everybody telling us we can't do this and we can't beat this team, they showed a lot of heart and passion and went on the road in a tough environment in Coral Gables and won the football game. I mean, yeah, it's 26 on our list because it was a big moment. A lot of people didn't expect Miami to go down on a crazy, wild Friday night in week 8, but they did. The ACC games on Friday nights can be wild, and that was a wild moment because they were a top 5 team. I think they were number 2 at the time. Miami was number 2 at the time in college football, and that was a big one. Just went down. Just literally went down just like that on a Friday night. Anything can happen in college football, and this is one of the games that proved that. That's why it's number 26 on our list. Wild moment, crazy moment, and it was just amazing. An amazing game. I liked it in the ACC. ACC had a lot of good games. We're going to get to one here on the next episode, I believe. If we rank it, I think we're going to rank it that one. Maybe I'll probably even rank it on the 300th episode because it was that good. But 26, Louisville at Miami in week 8. What a game this was. Louisville defeated Miami 24-21, upset them, and could have knocked them out of the college ball playoff, but didn't. They made it to the national championship, but they didn't. 26, Louisville at Miami in week 8. Number 25, we have made it to number 25. Round of applause for us here at Pigskin Frenzy. Number 25, Oklahoma at Alabama in week 12. Oklahoma and Alabama in week 12, number 25. A lot of people, and including me, I made this a Pigskin Frenzy game. I said that Bama was going to win this ball game. And by the way, we had George Reister from the Unafraid Show on this one. Shout out to him, good friend of the show, good friend of mine. He's awesome. Like George Reister, he's the man. He picked Oklahoma to beat Alabama. I picked Bama. Kind of went head to head on that one. He said that you got to watch out for Oklahoma's defense. You got to watch out for how physical they are, and he was right. And I mean, it kind of cost. I mean, not kind of. It did cost Alabama the game. Alabama stat line outgained Oklahoma and outmatched Oklahoma in a lot of categories. But there's one thing that happened in this football game that gave Oklahoma the win. It was turnovers, and they capitalized off those turnovers. Final score was Oklahoma 23, Bama 21. Oklahoma defeated Alabama 23-21 in this Week 12 matchup because of those turnovers. Alabama could not stop turning the ball over. And you're thinking at yourself, okay, last year, Oklahoma snagged turnovers from Bama in 2024. This go round, they're still snagging turnovers against Alabama, right? So it's like they have their number. I mean, you should wait until the college ball playoff in round 1 of this year. But you know what I mean. In the regular season, does Oklahoma have Bama's number? That's a question that a lot of people are going to be asking and probably still asking. But, man, it was a game. It was an interesting game. Bama hadn't been really the same ever since that Tennessee win. It was Tennessee, and they played South Carolina, and you're like, ooh. After South Carolina, you're like, what's happening with Alabama? Had a bye week. They played LSU. Didn't really look good against LSU. They played OU, lost that game. It was just kind of going more downhill because they had one loss of the season prior to that. It was Florida State, and they lose their second game against Oklahoma, and you're like, okay, they can't afford to lose anymore because this could probably end their playoff hope, right? So, but it was one of those games where you look at Alabama and you're like, what happened to them? What's happening to them? They're collapsing. Like week by week, they're getting progressively worse, it seems like. So you're looking, you're like, oh, right? But Oklahoma played a phenomenal game on defense. 23-21. Turnovers were a big part. Special teams were a big part. I think Oklahoma really outdid them in special teams, which was a pretty significant win for the Sooners in this game. And overall, it was a classic. It was an upset game for Oklahoma. They upset Alabama. A lot of people didn't expect Alabama to lose this game. It was kind of back and forth. The anticipation was building. Can Alabama try to get a score late in this game? And, well, they didn't. Oklahoma got the ball back late, won the game in Tuscaloosa, went into Bryant-Denny. They turned the ball over a lot and ended up, capitalizing off of it. Alabama turned the ball over a lot. Oklahoma ended up capitalizing off of it and winning the game. So, number 25, good game, interesting game, had all the dramatics in it. That's why it's number 25 on our list. 25, Oklahoma at Alabama in Week 12. Oklahoma defeated Alabama 23-21. Number 24 on our list. Very interesting game. We mentioned Louisville and Miami. Number 24 is Miami at SMU in Week 10. Of course, very interesting game. Reason why I'm mentioning it is because, one, it's their second loss. SMU defeated Miami 26-20 in overtime. Went to Dallas. They played them. And just like they did against Louisville, kind of played it conservative late when they could have won the game. And then turned the ball over late. That was a huge issue for the Miami Hurricanes in some of these games, and especially against SMU and Louisville, and they ended up hurting them. It really did. It ended up hurting them. SMU, we thought they were kind of dead out of the water until they won this game, because after they won this game, they were in line to go compete for an ACC championship. We thought after this loss, it really wrote Miami off. And I think that's why we were all kind of shocked about this game being the way it was, because SMU Didn't really expected them to go to the ACC championship. We thought Miami was headed towards a title clash with Georgia Tech. And Miami ended up losing this one, and now you're thinking, okay, goodbye ACC title game, goodbye college football playoff. Sure enough, things happen, and Miami ends up getting in. But SMU ended up playing a really good game in this one, showed a lot of fight, showed a lot of heart. It was a close game, and Kevin Jennings played a decent game in this game, and got on the win in overtime, 26-20. Back and forth close, late. All the theatrics, huge upset for SMU against Miami, and it knocked Miami, potentially, it could have, at the time, it looked like it knocked Miami out of the college ball playoffs. So 26-20, SMU defeated Miami in overtime. It's number 24 on our list. The theatrics, the dramatics of the game is the reason why it's number 24 on our list. Number 23, 22, and 21, and then we're going to wrap up our episode of Pigskin Frenzy for today. Number 23 on our list, SMU at Cal. Got some SMU ones here because SMU played in a lot of good games, man. So we got some SMU ones to close it out. SMU at Cal in the last weekend of the regular season, week 14. Playing for a conference championship berth. They had one thing to do in this, and that's beat Cal. Sure enough, Cal ends up winning the game. Cal defeated SMU 38-38, 38-35, and Cal, not really all the best in the 2025 season, didn't have really the best season, beats SMU 38-35 and knocks them out of the ACC championship picture at the last possible second. High-scoring affair, huge upset, ACC title game implications on the line. That's the reason why it's 23 on our list. It was a close back and forth game, and Cal gets enough to get the win against SMU and to knock them out of the ACC title picture. Like, all of that are ingredients on why this game was number 23 alone on our list. Huge game. Not a Pigskin Frenzy game, but it was a huge game nonetheless, because if this game would have gone different, SMU was in the ACC championship game once again, playing in Charlotte against Virginia and or whoever, Duke maybe, I don't know, but they were having one of those spots. I would think it would probably been Virginia. So honestly, if SMU would have won this game, Duke probably, if SMU would have won this game, Duke wouldn't have gotten its first ACC title championship or whatever in football. They wouldn't have gotten it if it wasn't for Cal beating SMU. So, Duke, you should tell Cal thank you. Because it was a huge upset in the ACC title picture. So, number 23, 38-35, SMU at Cal in Week 14, where Cal defeated SMU 38-35. Number 23 on our list. Number 22, getting closer, number 22, Alabama at Missouri in Week 7. A lot of people are going to argue with me because I know I got some SEC games in here, but a lot of people are going to argue with me with, dude, you should have switched 32 and 22 out. Maybe, but Alabama and Missouri was a pretty good game at the time, pretty hyped as we head into, I would say, probably the best game of Week 7, honestly. I mean, we would have thought it would have been Oklahoma and Texas, but that turned out to be a blowout now, didn't it? Alabama at Missouri in Week 7, where going into Columbia, we would have thought, okay, Missouri's offense is locked and loaded. They are a solid offensive machine, offensive unit. They're ranked along with Alabama. Bama, this was at the tip of where Bama was just winning and winning and winning. Beating Georgia, getting revenge on Vanderbilt, and then now trying to go after Missouri, then Tennessee, and then have that stretch of ranked opponents. Missouri opened up the drive and opened up their first drive by scoring at will quickly, and everyone's thought, okay, this is going to be either a rock fight or a long day for Alabama. Who knows? Alabama, punted a couple of times, and they started to fight back a little bit. They started showing some fight on offense. Manipulative, methodical type offensive drives. Ty Simpson draining clock, throwing the ball, touchdowns, you name it. They started having a methodical offensive approach against this team. Started trying to drag their defense into deep waters, and they kind of did. Bama ends up taking the lead. Bama maintains the lead. Missouri tries to come back late by scoring. They get the ball late. They turn the ball over late, and Bama wins 27-24 in a very close rock fight type of game in Columbia. Bama gets another ranked win, 3 ranked wins in a row. And it was where Bama was, okay, is Bama one of the best teams in college football at that time? Because Bama was playing at a high level at that time. Bama defeated Missouri 27-24. It's number 22 on our list because of how close the game was, how much of a rock fight it was. Defensively and in the trenches, they were going at each other. We thought that it was going to be more of an offensive battle, but Ty Simpson and Alabama's offense found a way to make it more methodical than we thought it was going to be. It was still close. Missouri showed a lot of fight, and it was just a rock fight. And I think that in the hype around it was really good. I think that's why it's number 22 on our list, because of how much of a rock fight it was between the two schools. Alabama defeated Missouri 27-24. Good Week 7 game between the two. Alabama and Missouri in Week 7, number 22 on our list. Alabama defeated Missouri 27-24. Last game on our list, number 21 on our list before we wrap up and conclude Pigskin Frenzy for today. Number 21 is Baylor at SMU in Week 2. Baylor at SMU in Week 2. Another SMU game. SMU opening drive, going bombs away with Kevin Jennings. Scoring, they were running up the score. SMU was playing really good. But later in the game, Sawyer Robinson showed a lot of heart, brought it back, and tied the game late to bring them into overtime. And they tied the game late. Baylor showed some fight on offense, and you're thinking, whoa, SMU had them beat. And they kind of took their foot off the pedal a little bit. It turns out to be a more of a classic game in this one. They go into double overtime. They go back and forth, go into double overtime. SMU doesn't convert. Baylor gets the ball back. Baylor goes all the way down. Baylor kicks a field goal and wins the game. Baylor defeats SMU 48-45 in double overtime. The reason why it is number 21 because of how the game was. Baylor comes back. They thought they were going to go 0-2. They come back late. Sawyer Robertson shows some heart on offense, brings it back in to tie the game, to brings them into overtime. You thought that SMU had them. Then we're thinking, wrong-o. Baylor comes in and swoops in, brings it into double overtime, and wins the game off of a monstrous comeback. Back and forth, high-scoring affair early on in Week 2. And it shows, and some exciting plays, like deep shots down the field, some exciting plays in this game, and it shows why, honestly, why we love college football so much. Games like this are the reason why we love college football a lot. Baylor at SMU, high-scoring affair, double overtime, on the edge of our seat to see who's going to win this game. On the CW network, by the way. On the CW network, we changed the channel quickly as we could to watch the ending, and we were in awe. Baylor comes back and wins. Everyone was blowing Baylor dead out of the water, and Baylor ends up coming back and storming back to beat SMU late in Week 2. Number 21 on our list is Baylor at SMU because of the excitement of it, the comeback, the exciting plays that were in this game, and it was a back and forth game until the end, and they showed a lot of heart and fight in this game. Both teams did. So, number 21, Baylor at SMU in Week 2, where Baylor defeated SMU 48-45 in double overtime. That was number 21 on our list. That was 30 through 21 on our list on Pigskin Frenzy today, and we are out of time. Guys, we're going to post the full list later today after the episode drops. 298 drops today on all platforms. We're going to post the full list on X, Instagram, and on TikTok at Pigskin_Frenzy. Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 college football season, 30 through 21 list, will be on all social media platforms at Pigskin_Frenzy. Go and give me a follow on there. You're not going to want to miss it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below as well. We are out of time. A big thank you for taking some time out of your Tuesday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage presented by me. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below, especially on this episode. Let me guys know what you think. Let me know what you guys think on these games, and was I wrong? Was I right? What's your opinion on it? Comment down below on this episode. Guys, Podbean, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all you got to do is just share around and like and follow the pages there. Comment on there as well. See, like if you're commenting on YouTube, comment on those platforms as well. If you disagree with any of these rankings and these lists on where the games were, comment and tell me. I want to know. I want to hear from you. X and Instagram and TikTok at Pigskin_Frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You're going to get clips. You're going to get college ball takes from me. You're going to get a lot of wacky stuff from me. And more and updates on Pigskin Frenzy on those platforms. Guys, the website's www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Guys, what a wonderful episode on Tuesday. Big thank you guys for just tuning in each and every week. Guys, we will be back on Thursday as we continue our list of Frenzy's top 50 games for the 2025 college football season. We are inching closer to the 300th episode of Pigskin Frenzy. We're on the last episode of the 200s on Thursday, and we're going to continue our list. We're going to continue our list, and we're inching closer to the number one game of the 2025 season. This Thursday, it's 20 through 11 on Thursday. Which games are at 20, which games are at 11, which games are in between, which made the top 15. You're not going to want to miss it on Pigskin Frenzy on Thursday. And until Thursday's edition of Pigskin Frenzy, guys, I'm Joel Norris. We're signing off. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you Thursday. As always, we're praying for you all. Stay the course.